My fault. I stretched the bounds of space. And they hurt.
In this video, I'll talk about Doctor Doom's character motivation and why he is expected to be the main antagonist in the upcoming film. At the end of the Fantastic Four movie, we already know that the team will somehow end up in the Marvel Cinematic Universe, Earth 616 or Earth 199,999. We know this because in the post-credits scene of Thunderbolts, around 2,000 spaceships entered the MCU. So why did the Fantastic Four come to the MCU out of millions of universes? In fact, their arrival was not random. A detail that will be explained in the Fantastic Four movie was revealed in TV spots. The team is not originally from this universe. They came from another reality. However, they became so popular and beloved in this new universe that they chose not to return. In response, Reed Richards developed special watches to protect both themselves and the reality they're currently in. Just Spider-Verse series, where such devices are used to avoid dimensional corruption. Their watches can't create multiversal portals like in Spider-Verse, but they've managed to keep themselves from glitching, similar to the watch Miles was given. Now, let me ask you this. These four characters aren't from this world, they came from the MCU. Even Doctor Strange once mentioned that a team called the Fantastic Four existed in his own universe back in the 1960s. So, clearly, a version of the Fantastic Four existed in the MCU, but now, this team has had a child in the universe they traveled to. So, does Franklin Richards belong to this new universe? Or is he still part of the MCU? I believe this is the first time such an event has happened in multiverse history, at least in the MCU. It's been done in the comics, but this is a first for the cinematic universe. Characters from another reality have had a child in a new world. This could be one reason Galactus is after Franklin, or perhaps Franklin has become a being beyond any single universe, as it's now nearly impossible to assign him to just one reality. The key plot point of the film revolves around these four characters not wanting to return to their original universe. Most of the disasters we'll see in the movie will likely be their fault. When people hear Fantastic Four, they often think of chaos. In Multiverse of Madness, Reed's revealing their biggest secret to Wanda wasn't just a joke. This team never considers the consequences of their next move. That's exactly why Doctor Doom always outsmarts and overpowers them. There was always a chance for them to return to their original universe. Reed even began working on a solution. But because they were so well-loved and popular in this new reality, they didn't want to leave, especially Susan Storm. She didn't want to give up a world where they were cherished, and Reed had no choice but to accept that. They used devices that matched their biological signatures to this universe. They played heroes here, even got their own massive building. But even that wasn't enough. Everything changed with the arrival of Galactus and his heralds. In the trailers, Reed says that Galactus's arrival is his fault because they came to a dimension where they don't belong and tried to hide here. The consequences of such actions were already shown in Spider-Man No Way Home. When someone enters a universe they don't belong to, not only do they begin to glitch, but they also destabilize that reality. Galactus and the Silver Surfer may have noticed that this universe was already on the verge of collapse. Sure, the watches Reed and Susan use may prevent them from glitching, but when a threat from outside emerges, the entire reality may begin to unravel. In the end, the destruction of the world they currently reside in may be largely due to the Fantastic Four. To prevent further damage across the multiverse, they may eventually be forced to return. Now, I want to ask you again, imagine yourself in the shoes of Victor Von Doom. You live in your world with your people, surviving all kinds of hardships, and then a group of strangers shows up. They pretend to be heroes at first, but eventually ruin everything. So is Doctor Doom really wrong for what he's about to do in Avengers Doomsday? Doctor Doom could have various motivations. He may want to take revenge on the MCU, on the original universe of the Fantastic Four, and wipe it out entirely. He might believe in an eye for an eye, but he probably won't go that route. His own world was destroyed because of reckless outsiders, and he may not want other worlds to suffer the same fate. That's why it's clear that he'll take action to establish a new order across the multiverse. External interference with a universe brings many unintended consequences. The Fantastic Four didn't just arrive, they started playing heroes in a place they didn't belong if they end up killing a Nexus being. In this reality, someone who was not supposed to die, they could destroy everything. The even scarier part is this. What if the Nexus being of this world was supposed to be Victor Von Doom, but they replaced him with Franklin Richards? With Franklin's birth, the entire universe could start decaying. The actions of the Fantastic Four have been incredibly careless and selfish. So whatever Doctor Doom ends up doing, we may actually say he was right all along. Let's look at it from another angle. Doctor Strange is a character who has personally witnessed the consequences of traversing and tampering with the multiverse. For him to side with Doctor Doom, Doom must have a justifiable motivation, and it seems he does. He may want to manage the entire system to end the war between realities and protect other worlds from multiversal invaders. Just like with Thanos, the MCU is likely to give Doom a new motivation different from the comics. In the comics, Thanos was in love with a cosmic entity called Death and wiped out half of the universe to earn her affection, a deeply selfish act that wouldn't have resonated with general audiences. In the MCU, they restructured his motivation around overpopulation and resource scarcity to make him more relatable. They'll likely do something similar with Doctor Doom, and even before seeing him on screen, we can already say he might be the most justified anti-hero in the MCU. The logo designs of the Avengers films actually offer clues about the outcomes. In the first Avengers movie, the circle around the is complete, symbolizing their victory. In Age of Ultron, it's also complete again, the heroes win. But in Infinity War, the circle is broken, implying the Avengers lose. In Endgame, it's complete once more, and sure enough, the Avengers are victorious. When we look at Doomsday and Secret Wars, things change. Doomsday implies a win for the Avengers, while Secret Wars suggests a loss. But could a final film really end with the Avengers losing? Of course not. That's why a follow-up film called Avengers Forever will be released, and in its logo, the circle will be completed again. If the Avengers are going to win in Doomsday, why have Secret Wars at all? Because the victory in Doomsday won't be a full one. The team may be scattered, but they'll still consider it a win if they manage to protect their world. After all, Doomsday means the end of the Avengers. A full victory isn't possible, but securing their home counts. In Secret Wars, however, they'll lose their own world, thus, it'll be a true defeat. Marvel has been hinting at this narrative arc through their logo designs alone. Avengers Forever will premiere in 2028. So many characters will side with Doctor Doom, not everyone will join the Avengers. In fact, someone who watched footage from Doomsday claimed that none of the Thunderbolts were present during the scene where the Avengers fought the X-Men. Doomsday will be a very unique film. We don't yet know which team will win or how. Perhaps they'll all unite against Kong and call it a victory. But one thing's for sure, Doctor Doom won't lose. He's right from the beginning, and the multiverse is now beyond control. With worlds clashing and collapsing, someone needs to step in and establish order. That might be considered a victory for the Avengers, but it will be Doom who truly understands what's needed. So yes, pay attention to the logo designs. They reveal more than you think. That's all for now. Friends, I hope you enjoyed the content. If there are other videos you'd like to see, don't forget to leave a comment. Take care and see you next time.